What we got? We got any questions for me this morning? Anything you want to go over? I know we went through a lot of information yesterday. Dimitri, anything?
No questions today, right now.
So we're good for today?
So just
Continue.
everything aside, what we can do is, I think Michael Prestino yesterday as part of the commissioning call had rose some concern about graphics. That we are missing some graphics, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, we gotta whatever. Bottom line is that Bill Goodman of TDX had mentioned, okay, so now we have training. Why don't we work on these outstanding graphics as part of the training so the facilities can see how it's done, and this way you can complete your contract obligation and have two birds killed with one stone. I am not sure whether Boris kind of agreed on the meeting.
He did mention that to me.
But you know, if maybe this is something you want to do, if they don't have particular questions, just go over your
how to actually install and tweak graphics. I'll do a basic review. I mean, the graphics are a little bit tedious and it's really not easy. But what we'll do is we'll go over basic graphics. So let's go over like.
So I think the graphics that had been in question was type of. So I'm going to talk about it from practical side. So somebody had mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong because it sounds like Boris had briefed you into the subject. So somebody mentioned that they'd like to be able to choose an AHU and have all the associated VV pop as a separate table or a graphic show that AHU has these VVs and that's it, rather than a floor plan which we have, and obviously with a little knowledge of the building you can know which one goes where, but I think they wanted to have a separate view of the VVs
okay.
associated.
So before we go, I'm going to show you how to do it without the graphics. We kind of went over this last time. And I think this is easier and this is more practical because when you start tweaking with the graphics, you can do some damage, some changes that have become difficult to fix. So let's. We went over the summary definitions last time. What we're going to do is we'll go over it a little bit again. You guys remember that? How to do charts and so.
Can I interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
Last time a gentleman came in here and touched our screen, is out of whack, not working.
When you say gentlemen, who do you mean? Who did that? Alex did it?
Nothing. Froze. Dead.
Wow.
Reboot.
We tried that. We tried.
Gentlemen came. Fucking love it. Maybe it's all these Alex's stuff that keeps it frozen. Because that turtle is slow, so now picked it off.
The turtle is living in this glass like 2 years.
No.
I think we have to do it from upstairs. I'll go and investigate. I think I might be able to get you guys something on that. That's crazy. You know what? Let's try.
Is it controlled from upstairs?
It technically shouldn't be. It should be two separate systems. And you shouldn't have to do it from upstairs, but I'll try regardless.
There's no cutoff switch, nothing to reboot over here, nothing.
what I'm hoping for is maybe the mouse is gonna fix it. Yep, there you go. Whoop, there it is! Whoop, there it is!
That's what I told him. I told
You
him.
just gotta get yourself a little wireless mouse.
I told him to put a mouse.
It's gonna
on there.
work much better. And then you don't have to play with them.
Your company have to provide wireless mouse for us.
Yeah, if we have donuts, I'll be happy. Now you want mouse? I can't even get them to bring you donuts. Problem is that it still goes back to the fucking backup, like it wants to restore the system for whatever reason. And we'll fool around with it. So
Another project.
BMS does not
Another project.
oh yes.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, I was gonna let it go, but since you didn't bring no donuts this morning.
There we go. Yeah.
I figure I'll throw something
I
on it.
like that. I like that.
Where's Honeywell?
He's-
He's not here today?
No, he's here. I saw his west.
Well, let's see.
All right, we ready? Oh,
Yeah,
still working on it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll fool around with this a little bit.
Thanksgiving.
That's it. So can somebody tell me what actually happened here? That it brought it to this screen? Or we don't know?
The last time you was here, you were showing, what was it, you were showing something?
Load banks?
And after that, it stayed on there, it
Yeah.
froze on there, and
Uh-huh,
that's it.
yeah. I'm sure it did. It happened. System is going down now. That's what it says. Anyway, Rafi, sorry, you're good to go.
Okay, so what we're gonna start with is I'm gonna show you guys how to set up a user view with a summary definition. And what we'll do is I'll show you how to take the VAVs that are associated with the air handler that feed it and put them into separate categories. So if you wanted to look at all the VAVs for, say, AHU5, you could click on a folder and see all the VAVs for AHU5. So what we're going to do is see the tab NRB. We'll click on that tab, right? Now there is a folder in that tab. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit it. This is one I had set up already. All right, and this is AHU1, and this will give us a little summary for all the VAVs for AHU1. So we have supply flow, zone temperature, and discharge air temperature. Okay, now if we wanted to add, I think we could add up to 7 items on this. So we'll go back to the all item list and see where it says summary definitions, right? The name is VAV summary, so we're going to look for that in the summary definition form. So right down here, we have it. So what we'll do is we'll double click on it, and there's the properties that we're reading. The supply air flow, the zone temperature, and the discharge air temperature. So let's add another property in there. So we'll hit the edit button, and we'll hit the plus, and see how that adds us another row? So let's put the heating valve. Now we're going to use that asterisk again in front of the signal. And if you have a question of if you're not sure exactly what it's tagged, you could look at the VAV, where we could drop open the tree and look at what the points are tagged. So and we can see that the heating valve is tagged HTG-O. If we wanted to do zone set point, we could look at that. So let's do the heating valve. Okay, we'll call that heating. And we could add another one. Let's do that zone set point. Is a good one to do too. ZNT-SP. And we'll call that zone. So let's save that. So now, we'll go back to this NRB tab, and we'll drag this folder over. So now you see how we added the other points to it? How they all just fall in, and it tells you the VAV. That's associated with it. And I could even bring it to the graphic that is with that VAV. I have to show you how to add that. I didn't add that yet to all of them, playing around with it. So I'm going to show you how to do another folder. So let's do this NRB. What we're going to do is now we're going to double click on the user view. We're going to hit the edit button. Right, so under we're going to add another folder, and we're going to call this AHU2 VAVs. Okay. So now, in order to build this, what we have to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this VAV summary. Now it's really easy. You can just drag and drop it in this folder. Okay, and now we're going to take whatever VAVs that are with that. So the VAVs for AHU2 are in an A6. So we're going to open up that. These are all the VAVs for 2. So what we'll do is we'll take them all in one shot. So we'll highlight that. We'll go down to the bottom. We'll hit Shift and the bottom one, and see how we highlighted them all. And we could just drag them all over in one shot. Boom. Save. And now what we're going to do is we're going to refresh, just to make sure it takes all the changes I made. We go to this NRB tab, and now we'll drag AHU2 over. And here's all the points for VAVs for AHU2. So this is a good tool. Again, if you wanted to change all the set points at one shot, you could just highlight the set points that you want to change, right click on it, command it, and you can change the set points right from here. So say the whole floor is at 72, and you want to make the whole floor warmer, make it 74, you can do it all in one shot from here, or you can figure out exactly which box you want to do. And so we'll go back to the summary definition. So now, suppose you wanted more points, but you ran out on there. So what you could do is you could add another summary definition. I think this is just one I added. So now I can add a second one. So let's call this one, we'll call it VAV 2, okay? Summary. And we could do this for air handlers. And on the VAV2 summary, we're going to add some points that we didn't have on the other one. So let's see. Suppose we wanted to make this we'll call this one like a balancing one. So we'll make it the cooling max flow. You could even drag this over, and then what you can do is delete it and put the asterisk in front of it. Might be a little easier. Alright. Max flow simply. Save this. Something. Now, if we go back and edit this, and we drop this new summary definition into these two folders. So now when we drag it over, you see how we have the second choice up here? So let's let it fill in. So there's the first one we had. Now if I click on the second one, it gives me the additional information that I put on there. And like I said, we could do this for pretty much anything. I mean, you could do it by, we do it by types because, you know, a VAV has different points than an air handler, right? So, you know, maybe we'll make one for the air handlers and have a bunch of points and the VAVs. So it's a good way to get a lot of information fast, and you can make adjustments from it. So, any questions? You guys, you got it? You need me to show you some more on that?
I have a question.
Got it.
I just saw a critical alarm pop-up, right? There was a pop-up showing up, whatever it was, an alarm.
Well, I don't have the pop-ups enabled, but okay.
So basically, if
Like that?
for example, yes.
Okay.
So if an alarm is not acknowledged, and another alarm of the same type comes in. So let's say, and use a real life example, I have a high alarm on a dating 1. I don't acknowledge it. Then if another high alarm comes in, will it still pop at me?
No. The same alarm?
Correct. So I trip high alarm, it pops up, I don't acknowledge it, I take care of that alarm, I remove it, and then I trip that same high alarm again. Will it pop up at me or no? So all I'm saying is how important it is to actually hit acknowledge on these alarms.
It is important to hit acknowledge. I mean, on
I think that's why we had the fuel oil commissioning issues.
I think that's
where
why
I'm coming from.
So I think that was the reason too, that the alarms never got acknowledged. So like we talked about yesterday. So that's why you didn't get an additional pop-up on it. It turned red on the screen, but you didn't get the pop-up, right?
Right.
That's what it was?
Correct.
Yeah, so
yes.
you you need to acknowledge the alarms, especially the critical alarms, to get them to continue to pop up.
Understood. So basically, it just makes it this much more important to investigate them as soon as they show up and acknowledge them. So when even if it's taken care of, there is another one of the same kind that actually reports back to the system in a fashion that pops into your eyes.
Yes.
Acknowledge the alarms. Dimitri?
The Aramark say don't touch BMS.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
That's not our building yet.
Yeah.
Well, he's saying, in this building you acknowledge them, in that building you haven't taken it.
Shortly, it will be yours.
Yeah.
Soon.
1 year and a half.
In a year and a half? Well, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a long time. Okay, so, I'll show you how to do very basic graphic how it's built. Okay, so I think the only machine that has the graphics on it is to be able to adjust the graphics will be the server upstairs in the BMS room. So
I think we can do it from the laptop.
you might be able to do it from the laptop. Yeah, you probably can't do it from the regular workstation. The laptop might have it on.
Yes.
So this is the graphic. GGT is the type of graphics you guys have, and this is the basic graphic generation tool. So if you want to open, the easiest way to do it is to open a file right from the network. So you're going to log into the server, just like your regular password. You guys have seen this before?
No.
Okay, and then if you wanted to get to a graphic, all the graphics are under the ADX in the folders right there. So if we wanted to do a graphic, we could pick one. So here, for instance, is the chill water system. So I'll show you. Go to the graphic on the screen. So here's what your working graphic looks like. And here is what the template looks like of how the graphic is built. So a lot of things are exactly what you would think they are. Is just I could basically move around whatever I wanted to move around. Like if I wanted to push this over to here, I can move it over there. Generating new graphics is difficult to say the least. So I'm just going to show you guys how to tweak if need be. So basically, if I wanted to add any points to the graphic, what I would do is I would copy and paste. So if we look, right, any one of these bullets, right, you could copy. They're all pretty much the same. So you could copy, and that would give you a value, whether it's a binary value or an analog value. That would give you a value. So when you highlight, so if we copy and paste, when you paste, it puts it right over the other one, no matter where your cursor is. So, and let's say we wanted to put another temperature here. So now I click on it, and we go over to this table on the right, go all the way down here, and we look at the binding properties. So the binding properties, this right here tells me the actual point that it's going to be. So the other point was the chill water supply temperature, and that's what's in there. So if I wanted to change that, I would go to the tree and pick out what I want. Now I know all the chill water points are under the CHWS NAE, and then I'll look under, and then here's a list of points I could choose from. So let's say I wanted to make that point that I added the secondary chill water supply temperature. So I could just take this and drop it right down into the point. Boom. And now, if I refresh it, so if I save it, right, here's what the old graphic looked like. And now if I refresh this screen, there's the new point I added. Right, it's right there. So I didn't name it, so if I want to name it, what I can do is see this text block right here, do the same thing, copy it, paste it, and then I can move it over to the other one, and I can give that a new name, right? Just right, secondary chill water temperature. Save that, and there you go. So now we refresh this again. See how. Now, I recommend if you guys are doing changes, what you do is when you save it as a file before you make any changes, and you can just save that to any folder that you have, and save it. So if you do mess anything up and you want to put it back, you can just open up the file and load it back in.
So like name it as a date, call it like say August 24th backup. And then if you know that something happened after this, you go back to your file and retrieve that.
So now we're going to take this back out. We'll delete these 2 points because they don't belong there. We'll save it again. And you'll see them disappear.
So what about, let's say, the piping diagram and the pumps? Let's say somebody decided down the road to add another pump. So these graphics of the pump can be also copied and the pipes added too as well?
Well, yeah, I mean, you could add, so over on the left you have choices that you could drop in, like these York chillers. If I wanted to drop another chiller in, I could just take that and drag it over and there's another chiller.
Okay.
Well, I can change the size of it. Right here, I can make it smaller. You know, and drop it over there.
And if you wanted to bring the pipes to it, how would you do it?
So the pipe, I mean, I could bring pipes over, but it's a lot easier to cut and paste.
Okay.
So, you know, I can highlight this pipe here, and this will give me a straight run of pipe, right? You know, and start to build it from there.
Right. So it's a little MS Paint.
You know, they have elbows and they have T's, just like basically how you were picking a fitting out the pipe it is how you would do the same thing with the graphic. It gets tricky, and to get it smooth, you have to play around with it. So I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be something that you guys do when there is an expansion. It's like another chiller is added. Then you will have a BMS contractor.
but no, we'll add the
Yeah.
graphics to the.
So chiller definitely will have a contractor that will incorporate the changes, but the smaller things, I don't know about that.
You know what? in the past is some engineers like to play around with it and build their own pages. And, you know, like maybe they want to have a page of all problem childs that they have. You know, like they have a problem with AHU1, they have a problem with chill water pump 1. So just a page that they can go to right away and see all their problem childs. Or maybe they like to set up, you know, I've been working on critical alarm pages, but maybe you like to break up your alarms in a different way where you have, and it's something, you know, if you're making your own page and you drop all these points on it, it's something that you can do and you can tweak as you need be. So I do see, I can't say a lot, but I do see some engineers, guys who are computer savvy that like to set up their own pages. You know, because after the fact, after we're gone, if you want to change the graphics, obviously they're going to have to pay somebody to do it, to come in and do it. Whereas if you just want something basically simple and to be able to view certain things on a page, it's relatively easy to do. I mean, my recommendations is to, so I could open this page, upload another page, copy from that and paste it onto this page in the graphics package. So basically anything you could, any symbol that we're using throughout the whole job, you could copy it from one page and paste it into another. That to me, because I'm not a graphics engineer, I tweak in the field. So to build it from scratch is not easy. To get all these layers, like some of the stuff is layered. But it's relatively easy to copy and paste and put the points in there. So that's what I always tell everybody, that if that's how they, if you want to build something, that's the way to do it. And then, listen, if you add a new page, you want to play around with it, you're not doing any damage, right? You're not hurting your system.
So can we actually go through the motions of that? Let's say I feel a little adventurous today and I want to play with the graphics, which I don't. It's just an exercise.
So in the graphics, let's go in.
How do you retrieve the backup when you save as that foundation graphics that you have, like you prepared? Now, to be safe, I want to save it as a backup, but how would I retrieve it afterwards?
So
when I finally realized I messed it up.
So let's go. Let's upload another graphic. Right, chill water system. Right, now we're going to save this to file. Right, we'll save it to file. We'll name it as CHWS, and we'll put today's date. We'll save it. Now let's erase it. Right, so now we're going to file, open. We're going to open from file, and here it is. We'll open that up. Now, if we want to save as, so we would have to pick a Metasys object, log in, right, and then we would save it as the graphic we want to save it. So let's come out of here. I'm gonna add it as a completely new graphic. And we're going to say chill system. Oops. So now, if we update this, here's my new graphics page that I added. You see it? And it's basically the same thing that we had done before. So you got how we did it. We saved it to file, and then we saved it as a new page. So if you wanted to create a new graphics page, what you would do is you would get the object, edit the page as you wanted, and then save it as a new Metasys object in whatever folder you wanted to save it in the tree. So that would give you a completely new page to look at. If you're going to do an existing page, right, you would open the object, edit it, and then you would save it to the existing page. I'm going to get rid of this because we don't need it. Any questions on the graphics?
No?
So what we have, just some things. So I showed you how to add a point in there. These are a button. So what this does is it takes you to another graphics page. So, right, if we click on a button like this one, it takes us to another graphics page. So basically, instead of linking a point like we did with the secondary chill water temperature, we're linking another graphics page to the page. So right here, see, I don't have the binding properties because it's just like a switch. It's a button to take us somewhere else. But if you look here, I highlight it. It takes me to the graphics page of the NRB water system. So that would be, we would do the same thing. We would go to the ADX. Instead of picking out a point, we would pick out a graphic that we want. And then we would just drag that from the top and drag it into the box, and then that would take care of that. Moving back through it, go. So this is, I've been working on this critical alarm page, because apparently, what do you have, security guards at night that look at this and decide, if an alarm comes in, whether a warrant's calling you guys to come in and take a look at it. So these are the two critical alarm pages.
What is the difference between page one and page two?
Well, just the points that are on there. I have all the air systems on here, and then, I couldn't fit everything onto one page. So, and all the water systems are basically here. I added some AC units. Basically, I still got to add a few more points. I got to try and squeeze them in there somewhere. So,
Maybe security officer should be here to see how to switch to page one, page two.
well, someone's going to have
It's very difficult to do.
Do they know how to log in?
Absolutely.
I think they should probably, they have the pop-ups. It's smaller, but I think what they should probably do is set up, you guys know how to set up a split screen, right? So we maybe have one page on one screen and one page on the other screen, even though it's kind of small. They They can still see the red box come in. You know, we can make that a little bigger by thinking,
We can click on this and they can read what kind of alarm.
well, they could zoom in. Need to. So
They call it night.
GEF6.
Yeah, they call it night, they cannot read what kind of alarm. They cannot say on the phone.
Well, they don't know what the alarm is. Well, they get a pop-up and general exhaust fan state 6 mismatch alarm.
Well, let's put it this way.
That's a critical alarm, the GEF6?
Let's put it this way. Sometimes they get logged out and they forget their own password. Well, their password is security.
Yeah,
And they forget that.
and they have a sticker on the
You're not the only site that's done that. I've gone to sites and the security guard tells me that there's an AHU down and nobody can tell me where it is. You know, it's a big facility. I mean, I've spent an hour walking around trying to find the thing with the security guard and I had to go home. They had to wait until the guys came in the morning.
Especially 2 o'clock at night.
I don't know how you guys run a chiller plant, don't have 24-hour coverage. That's the state.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, city rules, you need to have a licensed engineer whenever that thing is running.
Now we can send our plan.
But you have a central plant and you're staging machines
Yeah,
with nobody here. That's crazy.
it should be covered, 24 hours coverage.
There's no 20, when,
State says,
state says no.
yeah, the BMS system should control everything.
Close again.
Is that your ATS?
Yeah. There's a pulse.
You guys want to take a coffee break or keep going? It doesn't matter to me. Keep going.
Let's take a break.
Take a break.
Take a break. Take a break.
Any questions about what we went over so far?
What did you guys do in the morning? What did you go over?
We went over the summary definitions.
Graphic.
We went over some graphics, how to tweak the graphics.
For us to tweak the graphics? Really? Okay. I have to watch that video.
I don't think you're gonna be doing any of that.
I doubt
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it what you call nice and futuristic.
No, you can create your pictures, you like.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make my own page. I'm gonna be like, Mike, come look at my stuff.
You gotta let Kenny learn that. Let him put a nice girl up there in the graphic.
You guys gotta do that stuff after I leave.
Oh, you started recording already? Mm-hmm. I'll make my comments later.
Be careful, you are being recorded.
Yes.
You do edit that or not?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, we edit stuff.
We don't want to be what you call it, like Trump.
Oh, the hot mic.
Yeah. The mic's still on?
It's locker room talk.
Yeah, no, we don't want locker room talk.
I mean, yesterday we went over trending. Everybody was good with how to do the trending and how to adjust it and how to add it, how to add an alarm, how to adjust an alarm.
Can you show me again how to create when we wanted to do from the summary definition to be able to create the list of VAVs?
Sure.
That's that, yeah.
So we did that. So in the user view, right? See the tabs, right? So I created one for the new building, and what I did was I added VAVs for AHU 1 and 2. This is what you're talking about, right?
Yep.
So what I'll do is let's create another one. We'll do AHU 3 now. So I'm going to drag or double click this tab and bring over the whole point. I hit edit. So I'm gonna add a folder where I will call this one AHU H3 VAVs. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, so here's the summary definitions that we have to choose from. We could either use one of these or we could add a new one. But the one that we've done, well, I'm going to save this so I can just show you this part. So here's the VAV summary. And this is the points so far that we've chosen to monitor in this summary. The supply air flow, the zone temperature, the discharge air temperature, the heating valve, and the zone set point. Now I think we have room, we could add one more, so let's just add another one to show you how to do it. So let's add the supply flow set point so that we know we're adding what we know we're giving the amount of air that we're looking for. So one way we could do that, so we're going to add it in this column here. So now, as you see, over on the other side we have a blank box. So, and let's see, so we're going to choose the supply air set point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that over there. But now that would just be for that one specific VAV box. So how I'm going to edit it is I'm going to take out the prefix and I'm going to put the asterisk in there. So that'll make it good for everything from that point down. So now I'm not going to edit it. I'm going to save that. Okay, now we're going to go back. So now we're going to edit for AHU3, the folder I just created. Right, we're going to drop this summary definition in there, the VAV summary. So we can drag and drop it. Drop it right in there. And now we're going to pick all the VAVs for AHU3, which this is a lot. So we can highlight the VAVs and just drag them in there. So I think there's more on the other trunk. So there we go. So we'll highlight all the VAVs from this trunk.
Oh, wow.
We'll take the CAVs too. And drag that in there. Now we're going to save it. Okay, so now when we click on the NRB tab, well, let's refresh the screen.
What does it say?
Constant air volume. Those are the seclusion rooms. So they just keep a constant fire.
That we don't have access to.
What do you mean you don't have access to?
Because once the door locks, you can't get inside.
The VAV is outside. It's outside of the room.
No, all right.
It looks like I may have dropped this in the wrong folder. Yeah, so I missed the folder and I just dropped them on the page. What we're gonna do is along. So now when we double click on the HQ3 folder, it gives us all the information. For those VMEs. And you could override points and make set point adjustments. Oh, one thing I left off was the heading of the new point that I added. So let's go back and fix that. So we're going to call that supply. Call that supply as set point. Update. So there we go. Now we see supply as set point. And like I said, if we want to override the heating valve from here, we could do that. We could override multiple. If we wanted to override the whole floor, we just highlight the whole floor. If we wanted to change the zone set point, and I'll show you something else. So if I think we're limited to 7 points on this chart. So if we wanted to add, I built another one, just a generic one. So if we want to add another definition, so I could just drop this other definition into that box. And now, see how it has on the top, now it has a second one? Right, the VAV summary was the first one we set up. So now, if I highlight the second one, it'll give us a different set of points in the same folder.
Okay.
So,
That you could create a second.
yeah, so I put some airflow set points in this one.
Nice.
And
So we could check the other
so
points.
if you have, like I said, you're limited to 7 points. So if you wanted 14 points, you just create 2 of those and drop them in the same folder, and that gives you the information. So you don't have to create a whole other user view for it or folder. You can keep it like that.
Nice.
And you could do this with anything, with air handlers. You could basically put whatever points you want. It just makes sense to use similar devices like the air handlers in one folder or VAVs in another folder, because you may be, looking at a zone temperature from a VAV where an air handler doesn't have a zone temperature, right? Discharge air temperature.
Well, we get to, especially with the unit that's basically 50% outside air all the time. That unit that's just constant outside air all the time. Because I know it's not, I don't know what the winter setting is for that unit.
In NRB,
Yeah.
they're all set about 60% outside.
Exactly. So even in the winter time?
You're going to be preheating.
Yeah, exactly. So now we could just have a constant set point. We know the outside air temp is going to stay at this point. We create a temperature of supply of literally 72, and then we have our heating set at a constant. So So that way, whatever that ship is doing, because it's gonna bring in more outside air, we know that the heating valves are gonna be out of constant. We just let the air handle instead of the heating valves always adjusting.
Well, the heating valve is going to look to maintain a minimum preheat set point. So if
The only thing,
Because I think you could, I guess, give us a better example of it where we let the air handler do whatever it needs to do, but we have the reheats at a constant instead of them hunting all the time.
well, it shouldn't be hunting. So let's look. So here's AHU1, right? Right here, you're looking for 7,700 CFM. Okay. It's going to be looking for that. I don't know why we're not there right now. Let's just look at a different way for now. Is somebody working on it? It looks like somebody's working on it.
Somebody refueled.
Yeah. Because it looks like that one was reset. So this one has the economizer available. So our first stage cooling is outside air. And it judges the economizer by if the outside air enthalpy is lower than the return air enthalpy. So that's why you're an economizer on this one. So you'll see you're doing 24,000 CFM on that. Let's see, this one may just have a hot return air coming back. Yeah, you got the economizer available. I think today's a borderline day on that. Look at it all. So, oh, this one is overwritten. Yeah, pretty much all of them have the economizer. So, we're going to look to maintain. Here's the minimum outside airflow set point, and in parentheses is what the spec calls for. So you're looking for 8,500. That is adjustable. So I'm just telling you what it was designed for. You guys can adjust that later on if you want. So you're going to be looking to maintain 8,500 no matter what mode you're in, other than when the unit first starts up and goes through like a recirculation mode. So after you get past that recirculation mode, whether you're in heating, cooling, economizer, whatever, you're going to look to maintain that that minimum flow first. So in a winter, you're going to be using a lot of preheat to maintain, and you're going to be looking to maintain, I think it resets based on the outside air temperature. You probably, so when it's cold out, you're going to look to maintain a 50-degree preheat temperature. And then whatever you're looking for as far as your discharge air temperature. So you may be heating more than your preheat temperature if your DAT is higher, or you may just be looking 50, and then if you're maintaining, I don't see your DAT being lower than 55 in a winter. So you can run into the scenario where your heating and cooling valves are open at the same time, where you really shouldn't.
So this right now is not even recirculating any air.
You're spilling everything because you're an economizer.
Yeah, all right, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the economizer is not enough, right? So if it was colder outside, the economizer was enough, we'd see that outside air damper back down to the point of making that minimum flow set point. But so now you have full outside air, and you're using the second stage is not a cooling valve. So you have the outside air and the cooling valve open to maintain. We're looking for 58 degrees, and we're doing 57.6 right now. Again, yesterday we touched on the set point control. We're in automatic, so the DAT is going to reset based on your VAV box positions. It's like half a degree every half hour, I believe is how it is.
These are original settings, or these are settings that they want from the whole COVID thing?
These are original settings.
These are original
specs.
Really?
Well, it's,
But it's almost like if it's set.
you're talking about the outside air?
Yeah, it's basically almost like if it's set for like COVID settings, just fresh air all the time.
I don't know if COVID made them more attuned to the outside air set point, but it's a base setting with the spec requirements per. I mean, you guys are more like a hospital. If it was office building, it would be, it's so many CFM per person, whereas like a hospital environment is more air changes.
Yeah.
So that's.
It's not a bad thing. I'm not. I think it's actually.
It's tough in the summer when you bring it in 60%.
That's
hot,
the
wet air, right?
Yes,
I mean,
because that's the problem with the building that they had. But winter time, that's fresh air is not a bad thing.
it's a good thing. You're going to be using a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So.
And we got no chillers.
On this screen I see two supply fan and two withdrawn fan. And if you open the system summary, it shows like just one supply, one withdrawn.
Yeah, for 8.
Yeah. Except one, except two.
No, it shows two.
Two.
These are just the supply fans.
Okay, yeah.
HU2S4.
Okay, yes, I see.
I'm not showing the return fans on the summary. Yeah.
Is that something we could add if we wanted to?
Yeah, we could add it. I mean,
You're gonna be too many information.
Too much. Safety's not on this page. Safety's on the alarm page. Yeah. Can you show us the alarm page? Just basically what safety we'll be looking at? If you, I don't know.
They don't know what they're looking at anyway.
Now we have
so there's a lot of, because they had me leave everything from CSB. So your CSB air systems, your NRB air systems, basically breaking down your critical exhaust fans, your boiler makeup, your boilers, your hot water system, and your generators.
Now what's on page 1? The original?
Page 1, no, I broke everything. I still have more points to add. I'm not done with this yet.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta squeeze some more points.
They're never gonna go from one page to the
So
other.
well,
They'll never switch pages.
your trip water system, your condenser water system, your seclusion rooms, and your IT closet units. That's, and I think I have to add some, there's not that much left. I have to add some, a couple more AC units for emergency.
I know that's a lot, but the seclusion in the IT, can you put that on the other page? Or that's too much on one page?
I'm not putting it on there. I got no place to put it.
No, I know, I'm just asking, only because unfortunately, they're never gonna switch pages. They're gonna need two screens.
Well, I mean, we could set it up where you could view, it's gonna be small, but you could view both on,
Split screen?
yeah, we could split, you guys know how to do the panel layout, you could lay it out any way you want.
Oh, very nice. Yes,
So it's gonna be smaller,
at least it's gonna give them something to look at.
yeah.
We might do the other one where it's split.
So,
in half.
and you could also, you can get it a little bigger if you take this out of the picture.
Yeah, we definitely.
Go like that. Or we could set it up side by side.
Yeah, like that one, yep.
Like a small one. You cannot take.
We could kind of play around with getting it set
The
up.
monitor over there is smaller than this TV.
I know, but it's better than nothing because they're never gonna switch pages. And those are important points right there, IT and especially the seclusion rooms.
If you get an alarm in a seclusion room, you're probably gonna get multiple alarms.
From anywhere else.
Because it's constant volume, so if you're overheating, that's a high temp alarm is what you see.
How many rooms are on the box, on the VA box?
One of the VAVs,
Yeah.
it depends on where it's at, what side of the building it's on, because some have more rooms than the others.
Especially in the woman's side, if you have a woman like Gina that's on menopause, she's gonna be overheated. How are you gonna control the other? You know what I mean? We got one in the kitchen that's always.
The problem in office buildings, what I always run into, right, in areas that are fed from a common VAV box, a common AC, you have a huge guy that's always hot and a tiny girl that's always cold, and you can't make both of them happy.
Well, that's when you do the universal engineer answer.
So then
What's the universal engineer answer?
I'll get back to you.
We're gonna go back and make adjustments.
Oh.
We're gonna go to the computer and make adjustments.
Well, what I'll do is I'll take the thermometer, it's 72 degrees. I can't do any better than that. Set point 72, you're 72. If you're cold, put on a sweater.
At times, that's still not even good enough.
No, but yeah, you give them the line.
Yeah, it's still not even, because we go with the thing, we do the wall, we do the floor, and we do the ceiling. Listen, this is what it is. Oh, that thing's not correct. That thing's not correct.
Well, if you're shooting a gun, you need a ambient actually right next to that. But what I would do, if after that 72 degrees, if they're still complaining, and whisper, I'd be like, listen, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm gonna make it change. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Put a placebo on the wall.
The placebo
I
stat.
put a thermostat. I put a pneumatic thermostat on the wall where there was no air. I said, what temperature would you like to see? And then I readjusted it to read that temperature.
So
Now I swing that full left runner, full right runner. Howard, thanks. See him 2 weeks later. Howard, thanks. Much better. Thank you.
But I can't tell you how many times where I didn't do a thing, I'd be like, oh, it's been so
Put a
much
placebo
fun.
on the wall.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's amazing what you can do with people's heads.
Oh,
You're never gonna call me, are you?
Hey Kenny,
You're never gonna call me for an HVAC problem, are you?
Kenny, it doesn't seem to be working with Gina.
Gina? Yeah, the way over here? Yeah.
There's nothing you can do from.
They put her in a hallway. She's actually in a hallway. They made a wall in the hallway, so they'll make her an office. We thought we had finally gotten away from those type of tactics. You know, where they make the pharmacy out of closets. They got medications in closets. There's literally medications in a closet. No airflow, no nothing. Can you help us, please? It's so hot in here. Yeah, take the medication out the closet and put it in a room. It's amazing.
Medications are supposed to be within a certain temperature, right?
Exactly, and that's the thing, but they put it in a closet. No, and they look at, oh, there's an exhaust in there. No, that's just open to the plenum. There's not an exhaust, and there is no supply. It's amazing, amazing. We've been dealing with that for decades. Anyways.
So what any other questions?
I think I'm good. I'm just gonna need a refresher on that in another day or two.
Come back tomorrow and do it again.
Yeah.
I'm back next week. Try to veal, right?
Thanks to Mickey.
I think it's Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
Nice.
You guys got to put together because I'm running out of my own material. You guys gotta put together questions. I should say not that I'm running out, I ran out a while ago.
We're gonna bring,
3 trainings ago.
we're gonna bring some movie.
Raphael's in charge of movies.
Oh, yeah.
They just have them do a duplicate of the recording. They said the same exact stuff. No, I promise you. I recorded it again. They just said the same exact things. What are you doing? You leaving today?
Your loving spouse is calling for you.
Where you meet?
You got a meeting.
Oh,
Hello?
At 1 o'clock.
I'm gonna be in court.
Hello?
Are we going off more, or are we done?
No, you didn't
We're
tell
done
me to.
today?
I'm in training.
You have a question?
But,
Greg, you have questions?
no.
Okay.
Okay. Go back.
Thank you, Ralph.
You're welcome. I wish I had